It's great to see all of you here. My name is Teresa Longo. I am the Acting Vice Provost for International Affairs and the Director of the Reeves Center for International Studies. On behalf of the Reeves Center and William and Mary, I'm very pleased to welcome you to the annual McSwain-Walker Lecture, which brings to campus scholars, artists, analysts, activists, and other notable public figures who speak on topics related to how countries other than the United States think about and relate to the United States, and how the United States relates to countries beyond our borders. Today's talk will be The Heart of Justice, Combating Child Trafficking. And our invited speaker is Ms. Boom Mosby. She is an internationally recognized advocate for child survivors of sexual exploitation, and she's the founder and director of the HUG Project Thailand. HUG is a Northern Thai word that means love. It is also an acronym that stands for hope, understanding, and grace. Ms. Mosby is the first Thai woman to receive the U.S. State Department's Trafficking in Persons Hero Award, which she received in 2017. And just a few days ago in Washington, D.C., she accepted the Vital Voices Global Leadership Award for Human Rights. We've posted a video from that event on the Reeves Center Facebook page. Please visit it. A few thank yous. Thank you to Helen Naples, who is a volunteer with the HUG Project Thailand, who contacted me about hosting Ms. Mosby. We're grateful to Helen and to her daughter Mia for making this most important and we hope continuing connection between HUG Project Thailand, the Reeves Center for International Studies, and William and Mary. This talk is especially timely as it falls on the beginning of a week-long awareness campaign by William and Mary's student-run organization combating trafficking, HEART, or Human Engagement, Awareness, and Response to Trafficking. I want to thank the members for their support of this lecture and for joining Ms. Mosby earlier today for a wonderful discussion. So welcome again to all of you, and a special warm welcome to Ms. Boom Mosby.
Good evening. I'm not Boom Mosby, as you can see, but I did want to introduce you to Boom, I promise I'll be quick, because I know you're not here for me and my more cowbell sticker, that's very serious. But you are here to hear about Boom. So I have two quick videos just to give you an overview of her work, so she doesn't really have to start from square one. I can tell you that the HUG Project covers three main areas with anti-trafficking work: prevention, protection, and restoration. So we're one of those organizations that touches on all three areas. This video was created by our friends at the U.S. Federal Bureau of Investigation, and it gives a lovely overview of the work that we're doing in Thailand.
Currently, many victims of child sex trafficking enter sex trade in a younger age, like 13, 14. years old. Many of them, because of their family situation, many of them don't realize that they are victims. So in order for them to take our sides and willing to testify, because in Thailand, if there's no victims, there's no case. So we must have the victims to testify against their traffickers. So in having this place, it allow, for victims, they can come and go as they want. We don't force them. This place is open during the day. If they need, if they're hungry, they can come. And I think we've been successful that kids been coming on their own when they're not in school, so they have a place to come. We want to make sure that in the child interview room, we can make it live interview, where if you, for example, the FBI would like to observe the interview and ask questions right away to do it together, they can log in and see the interview live, and then they can ask questions. And these will help reduce, the repetition in, the children being questioned so many times. The Children Advocacy Center was established because we would like to assist the victims through the justice system without too many repetition of services available for them. When they come here, they can play music, they can bake, they can do crafting, they can talk to our staff. We also teach children how to protect and save themselves from being abused, and teach them if something happened to them, who they can report to. When they come here, there's police here that would build trust with them, and they are willing, and they're social worker, so they're willing to work with the victims, with the law enforcement, and I think it creates a new, like a new view of the justice system when the police are more like child friendly and victim focused.
So that's a nice little overview of the philosophy and the approach that the HUG Project takes toward helping support victims of trafficking. The next video, again, it's very brief, it's just a couple minutes, but I wanted to show you let's see, I know it's late in the day, if you can pick up on 3 things in the video. There have been 3 critical developments only in the last 2 years. December 15th, 2015, Thailand amended its criminal code to make penalties tougher for possession and distribution of child pornography. That's 1. Number 2, the first Child Advocacy Center, which you just saw footage from, was started, there's Mia, by Boom herself and her colleagues in law enforcement. That was actually the first Child Advocacy Center in all of Southeast Asia. There are now 2 more in Thailand and more to come, more in the works. The third thing is the TICAC Task Force, and that's another great group to follow on Facebook, TICAC, Thailand Internet Crimes Against Children. This is the task force model that Boom has been such a proponent of and has proven to be successful in Thailand. So successful that she just started another one called TATIP, but we're not there yet. So they're just starting an anti-human trafficking task force. All right, what are the 3 things? Pornography law. Okay, the second, Child Advocacy Center. The third, the TICAC Task Force. Thanks. All right, so listen up and let's see.
Many of these border areas are remote and underdeveloped, leaving children vulnerable. Thailand is one of the hubs of the child pornography trade, but now police finally have some laws to work with. This community in Chiang Mai province bordering Myanmar is coming to terms with the arrest of one of its most well-known residents.
I'm going to be a bit late because there's a big crowd of immigration police just coming to do a check.
It was far more serious than that. Investigators came to arrest British national Fabian Blandford after a tip-off from US authorities. They say they found more than 600 pornographic images of children on his computer and phone.
I often give them candy and clothing, warm clothing in the winter, and other clothing I buy cheap in the market.
The 64-year-old had been living in the area for 18 years and had clearly gained the trust of the community. One of his projects was sponsoring the local school.
In this case, he's a former monk. When he quit and continued his life in the village, he became intimate with the children by teaching them to meditate and teaching them English.
The government enacted new laws late last year, which finally criminalised possession of child pornography. It also set up a new police task force to combat child exploitation. It's those changes that helped police arrest and charge Blanchard, who became the 3rd foreigner to be caught under the new laws. It's a delicate, difficult time for all involved in the small community where he lived, which mainly consists of ethnic Shan from Myanmar. They come to Thailand largely for economic reasons. Like Jai Lu and Dao, whose daughter attends the school.
แปลว่าถ้ามาลำบาก
We came here because we had a tough life. I want people to know this. If someone came to molest our child and take photos, it would be terrible. I would be heartbroken.
Being caught in possession of child pornography can now lead to a jail term of 5 years and 7 years for its distribution. Wayne Hay, Al Jazeera, Bangkok.
Without further delay, please join me in welcoming my boss, the professional troublemaker, Boom Mosby.
Thank you everyone for being here today. And I know it's late in the evening, and this morning I had a privilege to meet such a smart and passionate group of students from William and Mary, and I'm very I want to send my daughter here, because you guys take this issue, and I have never got thrown in such smart, deep questions before, and your students did. You guys did it. Helen and I still talk about it all day. We're still debriefing about your questions. Okay, sorry. Oh my. Okay. Setting up. So as Helen said, in 2017, I was, received the Tip Heroes Award. And the hero, I think for me, it's far you think of a superpower, supernatural. I'm okay. But I actually have to overcome a lot of brokenness to be able to be here and to stand here and to understand, victims and, to be passionate about it. And also, and this is nothing to do with politics, okay? My work is nothing to do with politics. So, and I was just receiving another award with Hillary Clinton as well, just recently. That's why I'm here, and it's a great opportunity to be here today. So the scope, what we're talking about, the case that I'm working on are child sex tourism, child sexual abuse, human trafficking, and possession of child pornography. So you will hear this again and again throughout my presentation. So with these are the cases, actually I asked my friend to send me the updated last night. So these are the cases that I'm involved with. So total of 80 cases since 2015. We are talking about our task force with under 100 police that are dedicated and working on this. So so you see that the cases are overlapping now with technology. Even we have 12 human trafficking case, but with that, it also linked with possession of child pornography, child sexual abuse, and so all it interrelated in these regards. And this one we'll talk about where in Thailand. So every time we make the arrest, it's all spread out in the country. And we see that the highest will be Thai, right? We're in Thailand. The second, that too. So this is, I'll just show you, this is my Uganda case. In Thailand, so the victims very international, not just Thai victims. So we also rescued many Ugandans. I have to blur this out. So we see wanted, 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 wanted. And all these are the girls under their control. So the Ugandan would say their boss. So basically there are 3 groups of Ugandans. One would want to come to Thailand for sex, to become sex worker intentionally. The second group wants to come to Thailand to become sex worker, but after the condition is so bad, so they can turn into traffic victims. And the third group, they got false promises oh, you're gonna come and work in the supermarket and make a lot of money. So as soon as they landed in the airport, then that's when they you owe me $7,000. And then they got threatened, scared. Many of the Thai police may not understand Well, they can go places. They can be on the street looking for customer. Why don't they ask for help? But you don't understand the mental control mindset where we know the police, we pay the police, but that's not true. We trace back, but sometimes it's that, scare of the corruption and things like that, that the trafficker techniques use for that. And this is the case, the first case that actually I worked with, and then the Prime Minister supported me, and we also just formed another task force called Thailand Anti-Trafficking in-Person Task Force to bring all the divisions that involve in human trafficking to work together and to make a stronger cases. Also, when you look at, you can use legal mechanism for preventative, like strong punishment, like in the US is really strong punishment. Immigration mechanism, like many Thai women go to Korea to be in the massage parlor sex worker. Korean very strong. If you Thai, they deny entry. Even you already flying to the Korea. I think the states do the same thing, very strict with visa. And we will do, right now we do the same thing. We have less victims from the neighbor countries because if they're under 18, the immigration will deny entry. So there are different mechanisms that you can use to prevent these from happen. And also right now, the effort on financial coalition against child pornography run by ICMEC, International Center for Missing and Exploited Children, based in Hong Kong. So they're trying to trace, especially, have you heard of dark web? Has anyone heard of dark web? Yeah, so dark web is used, and there's some research that say that terrorism use selling of child pornography to make money, to fuel, that work. However, the way to do that, we need financial company to work together, the banking to work and to trace all this money. But still, again, with technology, you got Bitcoin, and you have cryptocurrency. It's so hard. Right now, it's so hard. Everything is go under. We have even some chat messenger that we work with and we need the, internet service provider to support us. And in the States, there's law that, all the social media that in the state, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they do very good with reporting to the NCMEC, 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 National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in Washington, D.C. Yeah, Old Town Alexandria. There's a great place to learn from as well. You can look, it's linked with Amber Alert, missing kids. So that when I talk about that now, So they doing a lot, and Thailand also signed the MOU with NCMEC, so we get the cyber tip report directly from NCMEC that we can run investigation in our own country. So these are all the collaboration, from international that we need. We work with, for example, British Police National Crimes Agency. So if we have an arrest warrant waiting for a criminal, and he's back in England, once he buys the ticket, it will alert the system, and they will notify us, like, he's coming to Thailand, be ready. So these are all the mechanisms that many international work together. I think you may understand. So just trying to bring in the real, I actually share this in a very, deep, I rarely share. Usually I just share all the less stuff, but I feel that you guys are so good, so passionate, and I want to share all these information. And also, like, it could be heavy, right? We ask, any uplifting stories? Yes, there's stories of hope. We'll talk about, I know in the US, love statistic. I always ask, how many? I don't like statistics. I go by quality. Why? It takes our team of 30 people to help restore one child throughout the prosecution process and the restoration, at least 2 years per one. One girl, one boy. Boys are also trafficked. And also, we said, sometimes I see the advertisement, we rescue 200 girls. What do they do with restoration? And we have cases when we have a successful arrest, but the restoration process failed. The case fell apart. One of our boys supposed to come and witness in court here in the States, but he came down with TB. He didn't get a proper care. He can't fly with TB. And that's fell, and that's however good the case you do. So basically, we need to work really, really close together. It's not something fun. I want it to be, it's rewarding at the end when you see them restored, but you're working with a human life, you're working with a person, and it can take, up to 2 years. And I loved it when, and Helen always said that before my volunteer come from the States, I'm gonna go and volunteer with help with traffic victims. You think they will be sensitive and how you say it? Oh, you share that better.
Oh, jeez. I have to share my misconceptions. When I came to Thailand as a volunteer, I just had the wrong idea about what it would be like working with victims. I thought that they would be, especially child victims, I thought, oh, they're going to be so grateful and so thankful and cooperative. And that's just not how it is. These kids have been traumatized in the most horrific ways, and they have also been groomed. They've been through a process that has distorted their thinking just so far from reality, and that takes a long time. The first week I think I was there, somebody ran away, and I was like, why would anyone run away? I just didn't understand. That's a part of the process. It's a part of the change. Like Boom always says, relapse is a part of change. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And she just taught me, and she has taught our team, the importance of motivating, not imposing change, and just being consistent. And we had somebody show up not that long ago who refused help even a year and a half ago. And it was rainy season. He showed up soaking wet with his friend, and he said, I'm ready. But the point is, when he was ready, he knew where to come, and he knew that he would be welcomed with open arms.
Yeah, again, from the victim mind, they often care and feel like they owe the traffickers something. Even the Ugandan case, they were sick, and the trafficker took them to the hospital. But we look from the outsider perspective, the term trafficker is bad. But actually, there's some relationship that they have, unhealthy relationship that they have, even in the child abuse victims. It's similar. It's important that we respect their value, we respect their belief, and at the end of the day, many times we just want to win in court. We want to get many, many years. And sometimes the case can go to 3 or 4 years, and my girl is like, can this be done? I'm over with it. But what she needs, what the victim needs, what we need, what they need is different. Again, there's no justice with love. What they need is not to win in court. They just want to make sure that someone is stand alongside of them, and we can't put that into statistic because we don't know how long it would take for our boys and our girls to heal. So the story of hope would be preventative is always the best. We have a case, American offender again. 5 years ago, this trafficking case. He would have a trafficker traffic boys, and one of the boys 12 years old, and his brother is 9. The 12-year-old boys, he do glue, he sniff glue all the time. And then that's how they get a lot of money. So he get paid 1,000 baht, how's that in dollars? About $30. $30. And that's a lot for Thailand to get, each time. So that's when the kids will say, I want to get that. So the boy and his brother just didn't want to go to school anymore. They were selling flowers on the red light district in the street. The older brother already been trafficked, and the police and I were looking that if we don't do anything, the younger one will soon be victims. So we talked to him, talked to his parents. We want to offer you full scholarship. I convinced my best friend who's run a group home, can you please take him? It's a lot of work because she knows if she takes someone, it takes for life. So my Thai friend took him in for the first 2 years. And the first semester, during the semester, his mom, can I have him back? Because she had the full authority. Can I have him back because she lost a lot of income? Because the kid will make a lot of money per night. And we tried to work our way through until at the end of the semester, he got 4-point average, straight A. And we took him to the mom and showed the GPA. She's like, well, I think you can continue to stay here. So it's been 4 or 5 years now. Now he moved to be with an American foster family in Thailand. And he just came to the States last year. And he loved it. He speaks fluent English. He leads the soccer team. And that's the beauty. His brother ended up being in jail for murder, but just for a year because he's only under 13 when that happened. So it's a lot of trauma that get into these type of children, and so much that our team has to work with. But it's always a hope. When you prevent something, when you see something, make a report. When you see the victims, don't judge them. And the highest, can you guess what country of the offenders? American. Yes. And the third, 13 Americans, 6 British, 5 Australian, and so on. Mm-hmm. And back to my first experience, why I want to start Child Advocacy Center. When I'm in the States, I love going to people's house and services. I visit a lot of Child Advocacy Center, and it looked beautiful. And even the Child Advocacy Center here, they have different parking for victims and for the visitors. In Thailand, victims, parents, offenders, everybody get the same parking, and the police. So my first experience was very traumatized. So I took my client to the police station, and it looks like this. And my client, my girl has to tell how she was sexually abused in this room setting. And it's not that the police are bad. The law is great. The law said we'll have a different child. The law said the child should be interviewed in a child-friendly room and safe. However, the budget does not allocate it with the law. So that's how the police just have to follow the practice that they used to. It's not, I can turn into I can be angry with the system, but then that was the inspiration that let's make some changes within the system. And how could I support through this? How could I support the police throughout the investigation process? Anyone here want to be in law enforcement? No? Lawyer? Are you? Lawyers? Lots of lawyers. In mental health? Anyone in here? Counselor? Well, we have variety. And that's when I came here, I saw, the U.S. did so well on this. That's why I came back, and within 4 months from my first trip, my friend and I opened the first Child Advocacy Center. And you see, it's simple. We make it simple, but ours actually the most prettiest one in Thailand. What does it mean for the victims if they are, not in Chiang Mai or when they not have access to us? So they won't get treated as the same. So we have a trained child victim interview. So I'm one of them. So we'll talk, and then I have like a room for police and prosecutors that can be there, and we have cases with the FBI. So why do we need this? Because also we talk about child sex tourism. What happened, for example, we have a case in the past before I started this work. The child was interviewed, went to court in Thailand, and the case got dismissed in Thai court. So the U.S. want to start this case in the U.S. so the offender get arrested because the offender is a U.S. citizen. Basically, after 5 years, victim has to re-interview. The case start over. So basically, we want to do parallel investigation with the FBI or the Homeland Security investigation. They actually, the HSI, doing a lot of work in Thailand as well, not just FBI. So we will bring them in from the beginning and interview together, and the arrest warrant will be indicted in the States while the case going in Thailand, and we coordinate very fast to say the court case is on this day and this day. So the American offender hired a lawyer, went to the temple, make some sweeping photos, probably 8 photos, and got a photo, showed to the judge that he do something for the community by sweeping temple. And he got suspended sentence, which mean nothing. But then, because we prepare well, so the US side picked him up right away, fly him back to the state. So he got travel to have sex with underage children and got 10 years jail time in the States. And victim do not have to go through investigation or interview again here. Okay, so that's the investigation. Again, on site, my work I shared this morning, how do you do, what the methods? It's easy for people we need to increase the knowledge on the law, right? People just training only on the law and the knowledge. But what people forget is without, you have the law, you practice the law, you focus on justice, but without love, empathy, and passion, it's nothing. For us, it's nothing. For the victim, it's nothing. Why? I did a study, I always do the workshop with so I won't waste my time training the police for the knowledge on law, but working on the attitude. So I have a story that I would share with them. Said there was a girl, she dressed sexy, she wanted to go see her boyfriend, she has to cross the river, and she was raped on the boat. And then after that, we'll have rank different character. Even the law enforcement, with the law, we said the girl's 15. In Thailand, children is 18, under 18. So basically, the majority of law enforcement, even social worker, would rank victim on the top one, the most to blame. I didn't use the word law. Who's the most to blame? And when the legal framework of child protection and the cultural framework, right? If you go to the tribe in Thai, it's very extreme. If the girl got raped and got pregnant, she's the one that got kicked out from the tribe. So you see, when the legal framework and the cultural framework doesn't go together, go in conflict, then children do not get protected. That's why our team, the goal is to work with law enforcement to find a champion, to encourage and pull on them, and to bring them to make sure that it's in harmony, make sure that they focus on victims. Because we know that without victims, as I said earlier, without victims, there will be no case. And then we talk about this. Oops, sorry.
Many of these border areas are remote and underdeveloped, leaving children
So we talk about, I think we want to know that when we work, we need collaboration from within Thailand and also from international. So for example, the US and Thailand will have, does anyone know the TIP report, trafficking in person report that tier, set the ranking for each country that the US would do, what tier Thailand would be, what tier Laos would be, and we used to be on the bottom, usually. We're always on the bottom. So the TIP report has seen as way political tools, or is it international mechanism to help push the country to improve? So you can see on both sides, in that, I can see that Thailand, Thai culture, it's about the image and the look. So when the TIP report said something that the government did really bad in solving these issues, so they kind of worked so hard to make sure the US will move them in a better tier ranking. And we hope for a better ranking this year because I can, I witness and I work with them and I can see that they are actually working really, really hard in all the areas to improve. We have traveling child sex offender law to avoid double criminality, double jeopardy. So that's why the US is very smart on this. Instead of, if you have sex with the child, no. If you intend, you travel to have sex with the child, you get maximum of 10 years. If you're a US citizen, even if you give up your citizenship and wherever you are in the world, you can get persecuted in America. We do parallel investigation, as I say. We did Operation Cross Country exchange program, so I got to come to the States a few times to study with the FBI and the Homeland Security investigation on the US funding to come here with Thai law enforcement so we can improve. One thing like Helen talked about the Thailand Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. So 2015, I know that the law will be enforced in December. I came here in August and I said, okay, that's the law, but there's no protocol. There's no task force to back up this law. So I talked to the advisory to the Prime Minister, said, want to set up the task force, and we want to be the first people in Thailand, the first group to arrest a perpetrator in this case. And the first perpetrator is, again, an American that we arrested. So, yeah, and with that, I got really good support from the Prime Minister. So the task force first year consisted of about 30 police investigators. You have to understand that these police, the task force is not set for like a division. Therefore, the police have to work second job on their own free time. So, and many times they have to give up their promotion because they couldn't fulfill as the main job they do. So, but the first year we got 30 police. Now we got over 150 police who want to be on the task force, who want to be trained and dedicated to the work because we make it up to the high standards. And we get really good support, again, from the United States law enforcement. So every year we'll do the Operation Cross Country with the FBI. So if you follow the news every year in October, so there will be different countries that would work together with the FBI, and then we will arrest. It could be offender from any countries, but anything that related to crimes against children, we'll do it. And Thailand was able, within 37 days, we were able to close 13 cases, which is the highest one in Asia, working with the FBI. And also on the US side now, they have, which is I'm very impressed, is now the US task force to identify convicted child sex offenders. Besides in the past, because I always talk to it's great thing that the US have, I think, sex offender registry, But what happened is after they serve jail time, they travel overseas. And that's when the law enforcement here lose track of these guys. So there's a bunch of efforts. And the latest one is amazing that it will be identified on their passport. Just like that. If you become a sex offender, it will be identified on a passport. So I think that's a new amendment that should enforce very soon. Maybe you can find out from law student. That's your homework. Even Australia, you see different countries. We have Australian legislation enact preventing child sex offender from traveling overseas. I have some Australian police complain like, well, then we have more offenders in our country. Yes, it's your responsibility. Why not? So they can deny their people not to travel overseas and keep them in the country, right? Because many people don't have the same mechanism as Thailand, or like Philippines is another place they like to go because a lot of Filipino kids speak English. So they are so targeted for, a live camera, like, forgive, love, and show empathy. Thank you. So we will take questions. Yes.
I was wondering, what was it like when you first tried to get the Thai police on your side? Because I know, like, for a lot of nonprofits and NGOs, kind of working with the state and like working with law enforcement can be really challenging. So were they really cooperative from the start, or did you have to? Were there some obstacles with that?
There were obstacles more because the Thai police is, with the hierarchy system. However, I really trying to listen to that struggle. And what I've learned is law enforcement come from, I need facts, evidence, facts. And NGO come from, I'm here to pour love. I don't care about facts. I want to put someone in jail, and I don't care about the evidence. So my job is how to get them to work together, and it's a process, would take time. So there's a lot of workshops and stuff that we run with the police that slowly. So I actually get to attend most of their arrest operation because I'm a licensed forensic interviewer. So they allow me to go on, and that they also include me with the planning of the operation as well. So they plan to collect evidence and stuff, but also still consider on the victim center. So that's an art of getting my way in through smile, and they love me. They actually sometimes report to me before their boss. So. And yes.
You talked a little bit about restoration and rehabilitation for the children. Oh, so you talked a little bit about rehabilitation and restoration. So is that then not part of what you do? It's now there are other organizations that step in to help and then unite children with their families, and if so, are the families also involved in some of this aftercare? Because I'm assuming there might be a stigma attached when children are coming back having suffered tremendously. So
Yeah, good question. So we do have, our goal is for the child should be reunited with the family. We will work with the family. At the end of the day, family is the most important for their life. We work with them. If the family not ready at the beginning of the first year, we just spend time working with the child separately and spend time working with the family until they can, reintegrate. If the family are the traffickers, then there are, we look for only qualified shelters that are foster care system that we would work with. We also have the child that the parents are great. They have no idea this happened to their kid. So we'll work with them and have the child home, but the child can receive free services through our counselor. Our police are all trained about motivational interview and stages of change if you study mental health. So they'll learn, and many of the victims are very sexually active and are with sexual behavior. So I have to warn the police, like, do not be one-on-one. He would call me from the northeastern part. These girls, I don't know what to do. She's been flirting with me. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. That's how they do. That's how they've been groomed. So they don't know how to, because they're not being healed. What you need to do is to protect yourself. Don't be one-on-one with her. Make sure you have someone with. But I also know that, especially child abuse cases, they have one girl, she was sexually abused since she was 7. So the only way she knows her male perspective are just for sex. She doesn't understand until she was 11, she started grooming other male adults to abuse her. So we also trained, the police said, but we don't want to just keep male away, but we want to show them the healthy male relationship with, we don't know who to use. We have to use the law enforcement from our team. So we'll go, create different activities that the police had to come with, and the police will report to us, this girl actually was flirting with me, and then we'll work with her. And then we also teach the police that how to create a healthy space so our girls know, when to say you can't hug me, we can high five. Yeah, something like that. So it's a practical, because we need to create a virtual community for these kids, or else they won't get experience to learn. We want them to be independent and be healthy and because we can't guard them, all their life. Yeah, so we need to slowly create a healthy community for them, and yeah. So I'm just trying to, the 2-year long process into short answer. Maybe a few more questions we have. Yes. Yeah, sure.
Oh, thank you. Do you do any work with community education outreach to kind of educate the wider community about child sex trafficking and issues that come with it?
Yes, we do that. We do work with, we're trying to, the thing is, I don't like to work with small, I like to work with something and make big impact. For example, I will work with school. Now we're trying to sign MOU with a school in the north of Thailand. We'll pick 10 schools, and we'll say, let's do, for example, actually a lot of students are from vulnerable. They're poor family. The only time they will access internet is at school. And many of them were recruited while they're using the school internet. So we'll go in and say, we're gonna install internet filter in the school. So if they go facebook.com, access denied. They probably hate us, but it's fine. It's for the good. But yeah, things like that. So we're trying to work with community, and that make bigger impact, right? Because one school would have up to 400 or 500. So I like to find ways to, when you do outreach, always ask yourself, what would we get from this? What a big impact would we make? Maybe last question.
Quite a few of the perpetrators are Americans, as you've outlined. Is that because they have seen that it's fairly easy, has been fairly easy to be able to do this in Thailand, and now with all of your work, they're realizing it no longer is? And if so, are you seeing a decline, and are you also working with other countries that they then may move to that don't have a program and everything set up as you do?
Actually, I just got the report from our FBI friends that it's declining, and because Thailand take it so serious, yes, they move country, as you say. Thailand is so cheap to, Helen in Thailand, she never cook. A meal is $1. That's all. You get a great meal. You can go anywhere. So basically, they just want to come here. Medical system is, cheaper and get really good service. However, the FBI told me like they were doing undercover and they're trying to like see if those two were actually traveling sex offender. And why they do undercover, they got the answer like, no, we won't get the girls because the police will arrest us, it's not worth it. So now you see the change that it's actually, the word spread out and it actually scares, and we have a really good team and we make Thai CAC very high standard. That's kind of, it scares a lot of out of offenders. Even with stricter law, we get a lot more punishment. A lot of karaoke bars and stuff would like try not to hire girls now because it's not worth it for them to get arrested. So legal preventative mechanism is working. Yes, we need education, but the country also need that strong legal mechanism and national policy along with it. Okay, last questions?
You mentioned that there were a conservative aspect of the culture that gets in the way of your work. So how do you negotiate that? How do you communicate with families that are relatively conservative? And so basically, how do you deal with that?
It's
Thank
so
you.
hard. Sometimes we need to give up. Seriously, but the law, one thing though, the Thai family listen to law enforcement, so we need to train. Like one person said, yes, there's obstacle because of the culture. And the Thai culture, kids cannot be higher than adult. I can't touch Helen's hair. I can't put my foot on the chair or on the table. Those are considered rude. And you think about kids need to sit so nice and well on the chair. And in counseling, you want people to feel relaxed, right? When people want to share. So if I sit like this, my grandma would smack me on the leg and like sit nicely. And so that's why I have to work with the law enforcement that this room has no culture. You have to be on the floor and the client can be on the couch. Client can lay however he or she wants. So that so many times we need to look, if you go work internationally, you may need to pick up some of the cultural aspects that are different. Some we can change, some takes time, and some are almost impossible. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Feel free, we have some card. You want to say something?
We would love to stay in touch with you all. Like Boom mentioned earlier, we are just so impressed and humbled by your interest and your passion around this issue. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being so thoughtful and asking really great questions. So we do have some cards, just information cards, so to help stay in touch. And if you're interested in supporting the work, please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and stay in touch. Thank you again.